Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com, and today I'm going to answer the question of whether or not I should add events on my resume. So, things that you do, like winning competitions and stuff like that. But before I do, I want to take a moment to thank a sponsor for Simple Programmer for this channel, which is Hire.com. You can go to Hire.com/SimpleProgrammer to check them out, and I highly recommend that you do because it's a new way of doing a job search. If you're looking for a job, if you're just interested to see how the process works, go to Hire.com/SimpleProgrammer. What you'll do is you'll fill out an application, you'll put all your info in there, and if you meet the correct criteria, geographically, skill set that they're looking for and whatnot, you'll be matched up with employers. Basically, employers will start searching and they will find you based on your skills. And then guess what happens next? They send you interview requests. Yes, you heard that right. None of this bullshit going back and forth with all the stuff like that with the HR stuff. Instead, just interview requests so that you can cut right to the chase. Plus, they send you salary information on the job as well. You can request that. You can have a minimum salary, and you don't have to go through all this kind of BS stuff. You can get right to the good part, and you don't have to waste a lot of time with a job search. So I think it's pretty good. I like it. It makes a lot of sense to me, so check it out, Hire.com/SimpleProgrammer. If you use that link, by the way, you'll get double the hiring bonus. They normally give you, I think, $1,000, and you'll get $2,000 when you get a job with them. So go check it out. Now, on to the question. This question is from Carlos. And Carlos says, last year I finished second place in a Programathon. Is that right? Programathon, there we go. The end product was a game that is going to be distributed to public schools to teach children different skills while playing the game. That's cool. We got second place on the event. Should I add somewhere on my resume, second place at Programathon 2015? I'm not sure if an event like this is relevant to employers when looking at my resume. For reference, the game was developed using HTML, jQuery, a framework for the animations, etc. Regards, Carlos. Yeah, all right. So definitely. This is great. This is awesome. This is something that can set you apart. You want, not only will employers care about this, but you want to work for the kind of employer that does care about this, because this is something that you were interested in and that you did, and it's very valuable, and it shows that you care about your craft, that you actually care about programming and are enthusiastic about it. I would totally put this on there. Just be careful how you put it, right? Don't put it as if it's like, don't make it more prestigious than it is, but put it on there and maybe put a little blurb about it, or put a link to where the site is where they can find the software. And this is something great to talk about. I mean, this is one of those things that is likely to get talked about in an interview, and there's a ton of stuff that you can get from that. This is kind of a validation, a public validation as well, right? If you've won second place in a Programathon, it means that it's not just you BSing. Like, this is a verifiable thing. It's probably even more verifiable than you saying what you did at your job, at your previous job, right? Because that's a little hard to verify. But did you compete in this Programathon? Did you build an application? Did you, obviously you coded that thing up, so obviously you're capable of doing this, and they can see that end product. So I like this. I think this is a very verifiable thing that proves that you have the ability, and you can list the skills that you use for that as well. And I think it makes a lot of sense. One of the things I'd say about resumes and career in general, I think I did a video about thinking outside the box when it came to job searches, is that there are no rules. You don't have to make a chronological resume. You don't have to use a template or the format. You got to think about more in terms of what can you do to get the job or to get your foot in the door, not like what is the standard way of doing things, right? You got to think about what is your purpose, right? Instead of just following some set of processes or procedures that other people have outlined for you, or what you think is the right way to do things, you got to think about, okay, my end goal is this, right? I want to get this company to give me a call back or to give me an interview. How can I best do that, right? And so if you're going to submit a regular resume, then think about that, right? How are you going to structure that resume? What's going to make sense, right? What is the best way to do this to get your foot in the door, right? And a lot of times it's not even going to be a resume at all. A lot of times, if you really are thinking outside the box and really figuring out how you can really best optimize your chance of getting a job or getting that interview? It's going to be meeting someone. It's going to be making the connection. It's going to be getting a referral. So how can you find someone who works for the company that you can build some rapport with, relationship with, maybe do something for them or provide some value to them that's going to make it so that they can refer you into the company, right? Because referral is going to be a big part, is going to be a big weight in getting a job and getting an interview, especially. So think about things like that, right? And don't worry about doing things, quote, the right way. Think about what the goal of your resume is and what you're trying to accomplish with it, and put the stuff on there that's relevant. This is relevant to you in your career. Highlight that, show it, maybe even put the logo from the award. I don't know, it depends on what you're aiming for, but I would certainly think that this is valid, and again, I'm going to emphasize the fact that because you're asking me this question, because you're like, can I do this? Or you're essentially asking me permission. I'm going to emphasize the point that don't worry about that kind of stuff. Like, there is no rule. There a lot of times, this is one of the things I preach against here on this channel, is we're kind of given this straight and narrow path of like, this is how things are. But things aren't like that. You can choose. You can go outside of the norm. There's no defined way to apply for a job. You can decide how you want to do it, and it's perfectly valid. All right, if you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button below, and you'll get all the videos that I make. I do about 2 to 3 a day. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.